It was very daunting at the start. Like I was like, fuck it, will this actually work? You know what I mean? Like just packing up and going. I thought I put all my ducks in a row, put people in the right positions, and like, all right, I just got to go now and see if it works.
Hey, welcome to the Tradies Success Podcast. On this podcast, you're going to hear real life stories from trade business owners to minimize the mistakes you're going to make, maximize profit, create more time freedom, and minimize emotional overwhelm. So hit subscribe and follow us now and enjoy the episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Tradies Success Podcast here with Ryan Halangahu from Multisparx Electrical and Air Conditioning. Thanks for joining us, man.
Cool. Thanks for having me. Pumped up.
Yeah, I'm pumped as well. You've just got back from a 6-month trip on the north side of Australia in your caravan with your partner and your family, is it?
No, just a partner. No kids, no family. Yeah.
You know, you're back, but you were able to, work on the business while you're traveling around that top side of Australia. Loves to start with that. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was very daunting at the start. Like I was like, fuck it, will this actually work? You know what I mean? Like just packing up and going. I thought I put all my ducks in a row, put people in the right positions, and like, all right, I just got to go now and see if it works. And I didn't know would I be working 5 hours a day, 3, but it just worked. You know, it really allowed me to work on structure and change things. And that's why I joined the academy again, because I'm like, I've got all this time, but I don't know how to implement it. So
yeah, amazing. Because that's one of the biggest challenges we work with members and we see people struggle with is you go back on the tools or you jump into roles that actually is disruptive to the whole business because of that. So you almost created this level of isolation that was not possible to do it. And it's similar to like when I moved to Bali and then to Byron, with Response, like there was no way I could get involved in the operation anymore. So I had to do it remotely. So, it forced you to think differently and to really work on the business and keep.
Yeah, that's what they say, that like working on the business is, you got to work on the business, not in the business, which is good to say. And like, I feel like, but once you're in the office and doing it, you're like, oh, so-and-so can't get to this job. Can you go and do it? Or this phone, or they're asking you questions. You just never get anywhere, basically.
Yeah. Awesome. And so how did the business go over the 6 months while you're away?
Actually better. Like there's more money in there. There's more systems. Things are getting done. Things are getting actioned. Like it's kind of like what we kind of found was when you got 8 hours to fill in an office, you just fill it like you're probably doing 3 hours of productive stuff. The other stuff you're just filling with stuff to do. Whereas you're on the road, you've got a gorge, you're in Northern Territory, so you want to go out and enjoy it. So you got 2 hours of work to do, get it done, then go and enjoy your day. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Yeah, and it forces you to be structured with your work and get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, and you also don't want to be just doing nothing. Like you want to be, like it kind of gave me a purpose as well on the road, like something to do. So, yeah. Yeah,
because we've had friends as well, they were saying they didn't have anything else to do. You're sort of just driving around and sitting around and drinking beer and sort of have no purpose other than just traveling to the next destination. So
yeah. 100%. So and we got no kids, but we bought a dog in Perth as well. So we bought a golden retriever. We flew him back to Sydney. He's coming back with us in 2 months. So we're going to at least a companion now on the road.
Unreal. How cool is that? So tell us about how you got into the electrical industry. When did you get started and what made you start your business?
Oh, I basically just got into it straight from school, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. My grandma worked in the local council and she just came home one day and said, oh, there's an electrical apprenticeship do you want to try? I'm like, oh, I'll give it a go. Like I didn't really have anything. I knew I didn't want to go to uni because I hated studying. I hated like that kind of stuff. But yeah, she just said there's an apprenticeship. Do you want to join? And so I signed up and I just clicked. I got it. Like I was top of my own TAFE. I was just really understood it and enjoyed it. So that's how I got into it basically.
Yeah, so different. I was the same. Like I really struggled with studying and getting into a trade where you're actually active and using your mind and your body to get stuff done. It's definitely.
Yeah, and I just liked applying stuff. Like it's like the first time you go to school and you learn English, you learn Shakespeare, and you're like, I don't care about this guy. I don't know what do I need to worry about this? But then you go and do something where you can learn and actually apply what you're learning was, was a thrill.
Yeah, 100%. And then, so why did you get into business? When did that happen, and what was the driver for you?
I was at the council for a while, for 3 years, and then I got to a third year apprentice stage, and they said, and then all my tradesmen kind of left, and they're like, "Oh, Ryan, do you want to stay on and run this section?" I'm like, "Oh, I haven't learned enough. I don't know enough." I said, "No, it's really good money. It's good time off. You get an idea every Friday," but I wasn't learning enough. So I joined another company to expand my growth and my learning. Sort of stayed in that for another 2 years after I was qualified to try and just set my feet. And then I just thought, I'll give it a go and try it on my own. And so I quoted this job up, what I was doing. It was like for a factory, and I just put this price on it and I got it. And I was like, what the, I was like, oh, fuck, now I'm going to have to really, I had to get brought my brothers in to run some cable, hired a cherry picker, and got it done and made a fair good money. I was like, oh, fuck, that's pretty cool. So, yeah.
I think when you first start and you do those first couple of jobs, and maybe I started when I was still working on the weekends, and I'd work on the weekend and make more than 2 weeks worth of work, working at an hourly rate. And I was like, makes sense. Even if I've got 2 days a week, I'm still going to make more than what I am now. So
yeah, 100%. But that's what I also liked. And this is another thing I saw people fail. They go on their own. They get 2 days worth of work. They go, "Oh shit! I just made my week's worth in 2 days. I'm going to go surfing for 3 days." Whereas I was like, I'm going to spend those 3 extra days to keep going and keep pushing for more, because it was so addictive. I felt.
Oh, I'm the same. Yeah, I love the thrill of getting more work and filling the days and stuff like that and growing.
Yeah.
The thing that those people don't understand though is, money comes in the bank, but then you've got to pay the wholesalers, and then your back tax bills come in. And we said before the show how those big bills that you weren't expecting come in, after a big profit year when you had no tax the previous year. So tell us about that experience for you when you first had that.
Well, what I liked when I first started my business, I was still living at home. I was still living out the back of my mum's house, and then it was so if I didn't earn any money that week, or I had to pay a lot, I just didn't go out on the weekend. I was just sat at home and watched telly. So that was my first sort of wasn't too crucial on the money. I just enjoyed it, and but then when I started proper business and out of my own, getting good money in, you go, cool, I made all this money, and then the tax man goes, "Oh, can I get this tax?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. I'll do that." I say I've put that aside, and then the second year they go, "Okay, because you've earned that last year, and we're going to forecast you're going to earn that again next year. You're going to have to pay that this year's and next year's." And I was like,
and next year's,
yeah. And I was like, I got no, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
It was just such a shock, and you're like, can I do a payment plan, or can I just And I learned when I was sort of starting that in the first 3 years is when businesses fail or succeed. So I sort of had that in my head. Just get to 3 years, and it should be over the hill.
I think that's got to be one of the biggest reasons why, hey, it's you all the money, all those liabilities sitting there that you don't look at, and then it's just hey, you owe us money, give us the money now. So, tax, wholesale bills.
Yeah, and you don't have property, so you don't have assets. I can't sell anything to get it for you. You're just going to just keep nutting away at it. So yeah,
the big one that I learned with the tax thing was, and I learned it after I'd literally busted my ass the whole year to try and pay it off. But same thing happened to me. We went from nearly no profit to a couple of $100,000 profit, I think. And they go, you got to pay 30% on the previous year, and you got to pay 30% of that amount for next year.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Oh, so we worked out, put it on the payment plan. You can pay it up over the year. But even that payment plan, I had no money. So I'm like, fuck, just scraping through each month to pay that. Got through the whole year because we had a really terrible year. We went from this really good year to a really bad year in terms of profit and no money in the bank and all this. And then after I was like, finally, we paid off the payment plan. And then someone goes, oh, you could have just adjusted it, because you weren't going to make that.
Yeah, I think you had to adjust it after the fact.
Yeah, you can just call them and say, I'm not going to make the profit that I prepaid. So just go through.
Oh, but you just don't know. You're just spending so much time just holding on. You're like, I don't have time to ring up the tax. I've got to go do some more work. I've got to get some more money in the door.
Yeah. Oh, All right. So coming back now, you said you started your business in a partnership to me before the show. Can you talk us through that journey that you went on there and how that went?
Yeah, so I had my own business, and then a friend of mine had his business, and then we sort of like, and he was starting his own cafe. He was doing stuff on the side as well, so he wasn't heavily invested in electrical. So it's like, and like I'm not like to my home, but I'm good at what I do. So like, he's like, can you come and? He was always sending me jobs because he couldn't do it. So he's like, I want to do in this cafe. He's doing and join businesses. His mum was working in real estate, so there was an inbound there to get maintenance jobs, and I'm like, and I knew a few builders, so okay, we'll join them up. And then we sort of went for about 3 years, I think, off the top of my head. But he just spent more time in the cafes and doing the work, and I was doing the work with the boys on the ground, taking minimum wage, just getting through it. Which was all fine and good. And then he went away on a holiday for 5 weeks, and I turned around and said, "Oh, well, you got to do what I do." I'm like, "Fuck, I don't know how to do all this. I know how to be an electrician and do all that." And so I sort of did his job while he was away. His mum did the books as well, so it was all sort of easy for them. And I don't know what they got up to, but I did his job for 5 weeks, and he got back, and I just said, I found it easy. I found it more beneficial. I could structure it better. I had more of a, the boys were happier. Like we had a fair few staff. I think we had 4 or 5 at the time, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, I just found I could do it better. And he came back from holidays. I think as he got in on the Friday, called up on the week. I said, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm out.
You're saying that breakup was pretty tough and expensive as well. Like, what was that process like from that?
Oh, it was really weird, but because he was such a business guy, I wasn't. He had, there was the lawyers involved and all that, and I had to end up paying, whether it was right or not, but I had to pay more for my ability and my goodwill than what the business name was. So, and we only kept his name because he had a van sign written up. So I was like, we'll just go with that. But yeah, I had to pay him money to leave, and all the guys wanted to come with me as well to Multisparx, which is now. I said, guys, cool, we can all go, but we're also going to leave this guy in the lurch. So I had one guy stay on with him when the rest came, but even the one guy's like, I don't want to stay with this guy. I said, can you please just stay with him just to like make my life and just 6 months or get through the jobs, and then you can come over. So but then I found his mum wasn't paying me GST for 2 years. At least that was all government, so I got that back. It was just a shit show.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I bet that was a massive relief. I know being in relationships at work where it's like you're holding on, and then you just don't know if it's the right decision, but then they leave and it's like, oh man, I feel so good. I feel like light.
Yeah. And the funny thing is in partnerships, I don't mean like you get to run a business to be on your own, but I mean, partnerships can work and can't, but you're still not your own boss. If you have a partnership, you're still answering to someone. Yeah. You don't have total freedom, I feel as well.
Yeah. I think a partnership can work, and I've seen it work when they're two very different people. Yeah. They're very defined roles. Like you complement each other. It's just like my wife and I, we're very different.
Yeah.
But we complement each other. Like we strengthen each other where we're weak, effectively. And I think if that's the relationship you got in business, it can work, but you've got to be super clear on the roles, and you've got to really appreciate each other and almost effectively love each other.
Yeah.
Because it's a marriage. And
the yin and yang kind of
scenario. Yin and yang, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that work, but apart from that, like it's good being able to make your own choices.
Yeah, that's what I found out. Like I was on my own, had more freedom, and then I just wasn't, and that sort of gets to you a bit as well. So.
Yeah, do you reckon you would have been able to travel around Australia if you had a business partner?
Oh, no way, because they would want to travel too. That's the thing. If some of you do it, then they want to do it. It's a tit for tat kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Yeah.
Cool, man. And so what would you say some of the biggest challenges in business have been for you? Like, what have you worked through? What's the journey been like? What's some of those real breakthrough moments that took a lot of effort and was really challenging?
I think what biggest thing I found, or not really a challenge, but a thing that I really thought I did well was like people start off and they just get an @Gmail account or @Hotmail, like their electoral whereas I think get your own email address at whatever it's called, looks so professional, and then just hire a space as well. Like I wanted to get a shop front or like from the start, So you just have that like professional kind of view.
Outfit. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you're not, it's like that fake it till you make it, but you look professional and you know, it's sort of, I think that's something I just found was my best sort of thing I've done.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And we were the same at Response. Like on my first vehicle, I got fully sign written, even though it cost me a lot of money, like, which I found out later I could finance. And then the other thing was, you know, professional outfits. And then, you know, same thing. You got to show up. You got to be professional as if you're the company you want to grow into. And so I think that's, you know, allowed you to be able to grow and your brand to grow into that professionalism.
Yeah, and I think even like, I mean, even my name, you see, I'm sure this is common knowledge now, but like I looked at Multisparx, I thought we can do more than electrical, and the name, like there's Multiplex, it's sort of like, it's a bit cheeky in that way that it sort of like sounds the same. And but then I found that people were going to say it's Ryan Halangahu Electrical. If I did Ryan Halangahu Electrical, then I could never grow any much bigger because everyone expects you're in Ryan Halangahu Electrical.
Every time.
You expect Ryan Halangahu to be at your door, you know. It's sort of, grow, like, just promote a bigger picture before you're there, I felt. So.
Yeah, totally. I love that. And so with that and your brand, you've packaged up all your brand and who you are as a brand, and getting work, getting out there, finding work, hiring staff, you know, trying to get the jobs done, project managing. Which has been like the most challenging for you and why?
I think my biggest challenge was at the start, you try and do everything. And over the last 2 years, I've sort of honing in on maintenance, just doing maintenance. I feel if you do a lot of things, you're like mediocre at all of them, but not really fantastic at one thing. Whereas, I think that was my biggest, you can't do it all. And if you can't do it, if you've got someone that says, oh, can we have solar? Like, just because you don't do it doesn't mean you can't hire, get subby, get there in the quote, you make a little bit on top of it and you still complete the job.
Yeah, 100%. I was the same. You know, what is it? Residential, commercial, industrial?
Yeah.
And then I see that as like the triathlon of business.
Yeah.
But you don't ever get good at any of the sports.
Yeah. So that was so I'm honing on maintenance. We're good at it. We're responsive. Like pretty similar to what you guys are, but we're built for it. We've got office staff. We've got guys on the road. They're good at what they do, and I felt it also safeguards me a little bit from competitors to come in. Like you get these one-man bands that come in and they do take work off. They go to a builder, they do that, which is fine. But if this one guy goes to 5 of my real estate and says, "Oh, we can do your jobs," and they go, "Oh, we'll give you a go. You're cheap, blah, blah." But if all 5 of them ring on a Friday afternoon and say, "We've got these emergencies," he's going to let 4 of them down.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of, so it's safeguarding, and they're going to come back because they're like, "Oh, Ryan's a bit more expensive, but the jobs get done."
We're the same with the real estates as well. Like we're known for, we'll always get there. Like, because we've got a big team, we've got great systems, and yes, they don't use us for every single job, but when they need someone, they know they've got us.
Yeah. They just come, but they go and come back. It's so funny. You just watch the cycle. Like,
100%.
Yeah.
And like all of our PDs and stuff are built around heroes. Like we're heroes, you know?
Yeah.
So like, we save the day because no one else can do it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, absolutely.
That's cool. Awesome, man. So, and what about employing people? Like, how was your journey there? So you've obviously built a team to be able to enable you to be able to travel around Australia and still have the business run without you being physically there.
Yep.
How did your journey toward building the team that would support that lifestyle go?
Oh, I think I never dreamed I would do it, and it never was a goal. Like I'm going to go around Australia someday. It was like just sort of things have happened. Like I think I'm lucky. Things have just worked. As such, I've never really had a plan. I feel like if you've got a proper plan and things go wrong, something goes wrong. Where mine, I didn't really have a plan, so nothing's really gone wrong. But my biggest thing was lucky I have is my mum does all my admin, and she's been working with me now for 20 years. So I haven't had to, I think that's my luckiest thing is by having her as someone who's just invested in the business. She's, she knows what she's talking about. She's smart and she's not going to leave. So I don't have to have that turnover of that crucial hire, to go and then bring her into the business because she was working in, property, house cleaning. for a company. So I said, oh, there's an avenue here with these real estates to do cleaning. Why don't you create a cleaning company? We named it Multisparx. So she started doing the cleaning for these real estates. And so she got the gist of how to communicate. And then she's like, oh, I don't want to do this. And I said, well, now you're perfect. You know the systems, come over to Multisparx. Let's, and do it that way, which I think was one.
That's cool. Yeah. So that's an example of like when our guys get to scale phase in the program, we talk about like service expansion or geographical expansion. Like that's when you do have your operation underway, you can look at these extra services like you've done with air conditioning. Yeah. That's one way to scale. We see a lot of people do it maybe a little bit too early. And it's the same thing like what you were saying about residential, commercial, industrial, and just electrical. Then you need to hire. You can't share the load, and it makes hiring and distribution of resources really hard. Yeah. So you're left with these big inefficiencies throughout the system. But when you do get to that stage, you can just leverage off your existing customers to go and build in new services.
Absolutely. And that's what I've done we've done the calculator and everything with, I can't remember her name in the academy. Yeah, Chantel. And then, but like just the efficiency rate is like, because eventually I want to have a handyman. I want to have a plumber. I want to be this one-stop shop for these people that we work off to do it. But I was like, oh, let's do it this year. And then I looked at our efficiency and I'm like, there's no point building shit on shit, So I want to make this plumbing, electrical and aircon really solid and efficient and work humming before I add on like another tier to it, I think is, yeah.
Love that. Yeah, totally. That's the way you want to do it. So with the travel as well, so your mum, I'd imagine, did a little bit of the operational management tasks as well. What about when it came to project management and any technical support if you weren't available because you're out of zone? How did you manage those sort of communications and working on that project management level?
So I put a guy that Richie in our company, so he's now gone into ops manager, and I sort of put him in that role before I left as well. So I kind of stepped out of it as such while I was still here, and it just but I didn't realize I was an ops manager until I joined you guys. I just said, "You're me now.
I just need you to do that."
Yeah. So and he just took that on really well and managed all that side of it. So, and then we have also like a WhatsApp group chat with all the guys. So everyone's not afraid to either say, oh, I'm at this job. Does anyone have any? Like, it's pretty open book with us in learning. And even Richie doesn't know. I don't know it all, So
that's so good. Yeah. And even though you didn't know I was an ops management role and you just assigned certain tasks to Richie, that's what gave you operational time freedom. And that's what allows you to travel, right? And that allows you to have flexibility in your schedule, which we talk about in the academy, and that first level of freedom, which is that operational freedom. But that's super cool. And
it worked so well, but I didn't even realize it was that. But but now I know what the ops manager is. I'm now defining his roles and defining. I'm working with Josh now to define these roles and do your customer journey and work whose job is it actually. So
yeah. Well, that's when we can really enhance the performance of our team as well, when we get clear on what each of those responsibilities is in the business. So.
Yeah, we had it last week because we went after our travel. We went to a Fiji holiday for last week with the family. That's why we came back, one reason. But I was away, but my Molly came, my partner, and my mum. They're all in the business, but we took 3 people out of the business and left only Richie, the ops manager. I didn't really think about it properly, but then. An aircon job, a guy went, and then our head aircon guy went on holidays, and these people were like, "Where's his quote? Where's this quote? Where's this quote?" And I'm like, "Didn't you guys do a chain like a handover before?" And they're like, "No, that was their job." They just pointed around fingers and blamed everybody else, but that's not their fault. It's just there's no system there to say, and I couldn't get angry at anyone. I'm like, "Oh, I don't like. Okay, let's just deal with it," and then, but we'll, yeah.
What a great lesson, though, right? And there's these. I see so many people, and I was the same, like you do these test holidays where you go away and you let it break, effectively, and you come back, you're like, what broke? Oh, this didn't work. This was problem, this. So like, that's what we need to work on for next time, which will just strengthen your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was just like, fuck, I was like, there's something wrong here, and let's just fix it, So,
yeah, 100%. So What else do you think? So you've done a lot of hiring. How many people would have you hired over since you started?
Oh shit! I was looking through Zero yesterday. I reckon there was like I had to scroll through 3 pages of staff that were past employees. Yeah, it's just. But then there's some that have gone from apprentices to running their own business, which I love. I love that we train people up and they're good enough to go and run their own business. I don't look at it as a negative. I go, well, I just trained this kid from nothing to running his own thing or doing his own thing. So I really think it is a badge of, success rather than, oh shit, I've done all this work. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a great, and then that's just the personality type. I think like someone's going to do it, they're going to do it. So, and yeah, that's really cool. So, what have you learned hiring that many people over time? Like, what's made a good hire? What have you learned in terms of working with people to get the best out of them? What are some of the skills that you think you've developed?
I've sort of changed a lot of my systems. Like at the start, I was just, oh, hire anyone. Like we just got to get this work done. We've got to fill it. I've we have now, which is probably not economically like good for the company, but I want an apprentice with a trade, like one for boredom and one that there's continual learning. You might lose a bit of money on not being able to charge that apprentice out on every job, but they're learning every day. So when they get to third or fourth year, and they say that that apprentice or tradesman leaves, you've got some guy ready fit to jump into that space. Yeah, so I just make sure, if I've got a trade, I've got the equal amount of apprentices. That's one thing that I feel, yeah, that was the biggest thing that saved me, is my contingency plan to recycle stuff. And if one leaves at the top, there's another one ready-made to fit in. Yeah.
Totally. Oh, that's cool. And with maybe someone that's not performing at their best, or actually I heard a story of someone where you've adapted your culture to be able to suit someone in your team to keep them in the team. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so probably, and this is probably one thing I did on the road. I didn't have much one-on-one and interactions with my staff, so I didn't have my finger on the pulse, obviously not being around. But I got an email like 2 weeks ago. I think I was in Denham, WA, and on a Friday afternoon, I was like, oh, hey, thanks so much for the time. It's my time to go. I want to spend more time with the kid. I can do some subby work in in a commercial job in DY, but it's my time to go. And this is a guy did his whole apprenticeship and everything for me. And I'm like, I looked at it and I was like, oh shit, like this is like blindsided me and everything. Where did this come from? And I'm like, and then I looked at his reasons and I'm like, he wants to work in DY in a commercial space. He wants some more freedom to with his kid, his newborn. And I was like, well, I can offer all that. Like, it's not something that's not around. But previously, if that was me and the old me, I would have just gone, no, here's another $20. Here's another $10 now. Like, just stay. Like, and not even care about why he was wanting to leave. So, like, I rang him up. I said, oh, hey, Jay, like, hey, understand all this. And if you want to go, no problem. That's fine. Good luck. I'm here to help. But also do know we can offer you a 4-day week. We can look at your structure. We have that flexibility. And he's like, oh, I've actually sold my place as well, and we're going to move to the Sunshine Coast next year. And I'm like, well, why are you going to change all these things within 6 months? Because if you're going to move, And so I said, oh, but cool, no worries, and just left it at that. And I've sent him a follow-up email and said, hey, as I said, just reiterated in text, we can help you, but good luck. And yeah. And then I got an email back within 5 minutes. Oh, hey, sorry, I probably should have asked. I didn't know you guys would be so flexible. Yeah, happy for the new arrangement. Great. Yeah, so it was, yeah. Yeah, and so I kind of did, and that sort of highlighted that I don't have my finger on the pulse either of the staff, because I really prided ourselves on our culture and our teamwork and the sort of family environment. So it really I was like, shit, I've got to get back into those one-on-ones and yeah, getting a pulse on how people are feeling. That was my biggest highlight out of it.
Do you think I like to like break this down and give scenarios. Like, do you think you would have had that awareness and that, that ability to go, hold on, how can I make this work based on your situation if you were like in the thick of it, busy?
No, I would have just gone, oh, whatever. Like, I'll just deal with it.
Reactive.
Yeah. No way. It would have been a total different story. Probably would have left. I probably would have been so stressed and with other shit. I just probably would have added to my anger and stress and just, yeah.
And that's the beauty of operational time freedom, my friend.
Yeah.
You've got some space to actually be strategic, looking at it objectively rather than reactive.
Oh, 100%. Because I rang, obviously, mum with the admin. I rang her and I said, oh, this has happened. She's like, oh, I said, oh, no, just calm down. We're going to look at the plan. Otherwise, everything happens for a reason. We'll work around it. It'll be fine. And within 24 hours, it was turned around. But yeah, or was it in here? I wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah, unreal, man. So for our members or any of the listeners at the moment, like what would be some of the biggest advice you could give them, knowing that, you've been able to go through this many hires, you've been able to see what works, what doesn't, and then be able to have the operational time freedom to go on a 6-month trip in the caravan and then come back and the business is still running. What's the advice you've got for the people aspiring to build their business to have a bit more freedom?
I don't know if I have advice because I probably didn't have a set structure to do it either, but I just know just the professionalism. You got to back what you say. Like, you got to back your work. You can't be pushed around with other people's prices or be bullied into doing stuff for cheap. Back who you are and what you're worth. Basically, I had another friend of mine who he's an marine electrician. He's going to do another. He's joining with a guy today that does both. And so he rang me and said, oh, hey, I've got this job tomorrow. I'm going in as I want to learn 240, but I'm a marine electrician. How much should this guy be paying me? And I said to him, well, how much are you worth? Like you sort of can answer that own question. I said, we sort of had similar. We had an AC guy. And we was learning the same. And I said, what are you on now? He said, what he's on. And I said, well, you're probably worth 35, but go to him and say what you want, and you say, well, if he offers you something else, say, well, I'm good enough for this. In 3 months, let me show you how to get to what you want.
Yeah, how good's that? Let's work out a plan so that I can earn what I want. You get me, which is going to be good for the business. And even if we're not starting at that point, we're working towards it. And that's motivating for everyone, right? The business and the employees are both driving to get this.
100%. And that's what sorry to cut you off. Sorry. But that's what we did a hire on the road, for this AC tech that with Kyle has just joined. But I did the hire all on the side of the road on my laptop on the caravan. Like, it was insane. Like, it was, and then from joining the academy, it was like I had confidence for Zoom calls. I had confidence in my culture, and it was, this guy, he emailed and said, oh, hey, I'm coming from, it was funny, I was trying to do a hire for an AC. I hadn't put the ads out or anything yet. I had it in my head, and this email just popped in and said, hey, my name's Kyle. I'm a Friggy from Canada. I've been in Australia for 12 months. I've got my residency now. Do you have work? And so I was like, oh, like, this is like too good to be true. Is this like the goose, the golden egg or whatever? So I was like, fuck, I'm not in really good reception. I've got to do it over Zoom. I'm going to have to get some courage and I'll get it. So I emailed him back, but I kind of reverse email, said, hey, and just talked about our culture. We've got, work-life balance, your birthday's off, you'll really enjoy it. And which I wasn't lying, but I was just really promoting us. So all our guys we're young, we get around each other, all our work's local. You don't have to travel very far. Can we have a Zoom on Tuesday? He said, perfect, thanks. See you then. And that was Thursday. So that was the whole weekend until the Tuesday, because I knew I'd be in better reception. Then we did the Zoom. I said, oh, hey, Kyle, and I said, oh, you obviously sent that email to a few people, yeah, because, just to farm yourself. And he goes, yeah, I sent it to a couple. I got a job offer on Friday for X amount. But it works out of, it didn't sound as good as your company. Their work's pretty far away. There's a lot of travel. I didn't really see, so I wanted to wait to see you first. I was like, oh, great. And so then I said, oh, well, I can't really offer you that amount, but I can offer you this and we can see. And this is where I got that advice from my friend yesterday, where he's like, well, I'm worth this. And I said, well, you got 3 months. And if you are, happy to pay it. That means I can charge you out. It means we can get more jobs. We can be more efficient, So if you're worth that, let's do it.
Yeah,
he goes,
totally be worth it. Yeah.
So he signed. He said, yeah, perfect. So he's like at a smaller wage, but yeah, had I not had all that learnings with academy, no, I would have just said, yeah, I would have lost that higher,
Yeah, you had your job ad ready to go, so you were able to just re-spill it back out into the email and.
Yeah. So that was a big learning curve. I feel just that confidence and like even like this doing an interview like this is just like it's daunting, but you just got to do it. So
sounds like you nailed it, man. Congrats.
Yeah, it's big.
More hires on the road.
Yes.
You got another trip planned. You're about to head out to do the south side. You're saying earlier.
Yeah, we sold our caravan over in Perth on Marketplace, and then we've upgraded we had a pop-up one, so it was a bit of a nightmare up and down all the time. So we've got a bit of an easier one in 2 months, December, that should be ready. So go back over then and try. I don't know how long we're going to take to do the south side, but we'll just keep going as long as we can. But try and implement, I'm trying to really work now again to implement stuff and then be able to visualize it, removed from it.
Yeah, it's so good. If you've got that plan, you can work backwards from that plan, and that's exciting.
Yeah, and then people, they didn't, I thought everyone would resent me at work, and I go, what's here? But, it's worked. Everyone's happier. Everyone, I think me being out of their hair, they're like, well, fuck, we can finally get shit done,
Amazing how much we get in our own way, as a business owner. It's better when we're not there all the time sometimes.
Yeah, I'm back now and I've been in the office for 3 days and I can see myself, I'm I can hear a conversation. I'm like, nah, shut up. Just let it.
Yeah, couldn't do that before.
Yeah, let it happen. So, yeah.
Oh, congrats, man. I'm really proud of you and what you've done and everything that you're implementing. And I can't wait to continue to work with you while you're going on the south side and just to make your systems really smooth and your team to be thriving. So that's awesome. Good work.
Yeah, no, looking forward to it. I've got so many ideas in my head and stuff I want to do, but it's just so helpful with you guys to actually help implement these things. And everything takes time, but yeah, it's been so valuable doing it.
No, I appreciate you, man.
Mm.
All right. On one more thing, because you were in the Electrician Success Academy years ago.
Yeah.
And when you pop back in, a little bit while ago, I was like, "Oh, Ryan's back." So what was the transition from what it was before to what it is now? What have you noticed?
It's wild the changes. I remember back then you had the Google Drive, you had a Gmail, everyone had their own email. It was you had to go into a drive to see some learnings and everything. It was that
was me starting my own a tradie business, but in the coaching world.
Yeah.
Put it together.
It was wild. It was so much good learning from it. It was so much. But I think back then it was really heavy on Simpro based as well, and I didn't have Simpro, so it was very hard to try. And I was like, I'll get Simpro, and I tried. It was too hard, so it was hard to correlate them. But I took some good. Back in the day, there was your upselling where you if the boys see 4 PowerPoints, they get $10 each PowerPoint, but we'll charge 30 on that, so it doesn't cost you any more money. They make a bit more money, you're making more money. That incentive was one of them. There was a few. And if you're quoting on your hourly rate, put it up a little bit when you're quoting a job, because people don't look at, they just get a labour and material. There's a lot of good learnings I learned in it. But then again, it came down to not a lot of time to implement it. Yeah. And then when I was on the road this second time, my friend Mitch, he's in the academy, he's a plumber. He said, I'm on this academy thing that's really good. I'm like, I remember that thing. So I'm going to just go in and see, has it changed? What is it all about? And then re-looking at it again, it was this is superseded what it was before. And there's Greg's familiar smiley face again. Oh, he's still there, so it mustn't be that bad. So it made his money and got gone. So
I'm doing it with purpose. I'm here to help, man. Not the money. Yeah. So what's different now? What do you reckon if you were to tell someone what Academy's like, what would you say?
Oh, I just think the obviously the technology, but the one-on-one like the coaching, you can join any group, but it's so singular. Whereas I think Academy is so many branches to this tree that you can just get so much knowledge of what you want. Like, it's not just a one-stop shop. I mean, it is a one-stop shop, but it's not just one person trying to feed you, solve all your answers. Is my biggest thing. The guru that knows everything. You know, it's. I just think, the knowledge base is invaluable. So as I said, when I'm on the road, I Lauren, who is I think my coach. She's in Melbourne and does plumbing and electrical, but she just bought a van and bought a thing. She's like, why am I your coach when you're doing what I want to do? And it's well, I'm kind of cheating the system, but she's going to do the loop as well. We'll probably cross paths, but it's
cool.
It's a really good system. So
good. No, awesome, man. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for joining us, and thanks for sharing your story today. I think it's really inspiring for all the members to hear, because this is what a lot of them are working towards. Yeah. And you want to reach out to Ryan, just shoot a message to him in the Tradies app, and man, I'll see you back in there real soon. Yeah,
sounds good, and it doesn't happen overnight, so that's probably the biggest thing. So.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's it. Cool.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Hey guys, it's Greg here. Thanks for listening to the podcast. For me, growing my trade business was extremely hard. It cost me millions of dollars, so much time trying to figure out what was the right way to do business, and emotionally feeling like I'm letting myself, my partner, and my family down by not knowing how to run my business properly. But I kept working hard and overcame those challenges and created systems and solutions that minimized those mistakes for myself and my team as we grew. Now, Response Electricians, go and Google it. We've got over 1,700 reviews on Google. We've won awards like Electrician of the Year and Service Business of the Year, both state and nationally. I sat on the National Board of Directors for Master Electricians Australia for 2 years, created a real solid awareness of the industry and the construction industry and the challenges you face. And the business runs autonomously over in Perth while I live my life working on the Academy in Byron Bay. And I help people like you create freedom from your business as well. Now, having coached and trained thousands of trade business owners, we've developed the Freedom Fighters program. It's a guided pathway in a hybrid training and coaching system that provides you with the right information and steps to take to create freedom, not in years, but now. You can actually create more freedom from your business sooner than you think. So click the link and have a free strategy session with one of our Academy experts to fully understand how you can create more time freedom from your trade business, generating more profit, better culture, and more growth in less time.